I've never said this actually publicly ever. Nothing felt like art on social media anymore. In November, I started making this plan of posting every day. January 1st came around, it went up, and it was just kind of like history from there. Like, I don't think I have the keys to success. I think my biggest strength is getting somebody to believe that the version of themselves or the version of self-improvement, the journey that they're on, is the right path, and I think the best content will be made. I never focused my content on attracting brands. It came because I honed in on how to tell a story. But for me, I needed him. He made me so much better as a director. The chemistry that we had when we first started making videos, like, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would be here. I needed to make sure that I worked with the biggest artists before I moved to LA. Yeah, I had this checklist of artists and brands, and once I got like the last infinity stone on my fist, 10 days later, I was out.
Who was that final artist? E40.
Yep. Oh, that's my favorite part. I feel like I'm way better as a director and behind the camera and getting talent to give me exactly what we need to execute a scene or a film more than I could be in front of it. Me feeling like I was on top of my game, on top of the world, making the most money I had ever made in my life, and then having a parent just pass, just like, dude, none of it matters. So now my perspective on life has just become, I appreciate every day. Man, the shit could be 10% full, but yo, there's something in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 111 of the 505 podcast. Today we're welcome with a very special guest. We got Adrian Per in the building. Over a 2-hour pod.
But well-deserved.
Oh,
because
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's someone who we've been wanting to have on for a minute. And he's, I would say, like top 3 guests people have been asking for. So to finally get him on is like awesome.
He goes into his short form storytelling process. So he also has a production company called Lumpia Watermelon, and he has been doing a challenge where he did 365 days of a vertical video every single day. He went from a little under, like, I think he was at like maybe 3,000 on Instagram. He's over 500,000 right now currently, and he has no plans of stopping anytime soon.
Well, what's crazy is like he decided to go all in on a certain day. He was like, all right, I'm doing it. He batched. He had like he was like 6 weeks ahead, which was like super smart. But what I loved that he said, he was like, you got to go 100% all in. But there was some luck involved. Like he was like, maybe if I had gone a little bit earlier, people might have not been so fatigued from like short form content. And if I had maybe started like 3 months later, maybe they wouldn't have been like as hyped on it. So I thought that was really cool that he talked about that.
And I think his content is very helpful. He's giving you advice and kind of helping you along the journey as a filmmaker, as a content creator, talking about the struggles of what it's like doing this job. And it was refreshing to hear his process. And he had a really cool time blocking method that he used. He was showing us his calendar, how he organizes his life. I mean, yeah. I think you guys are going to get an all access look at one of our favorite creators right now.
I also love that he talked about these events that he's hosting. They're so cool. I just feel like the fact that he's bringing the community together, you got to respect anybody that's trying to do that. So super, like, shout out to him.
Yeah, and he's putting on these exhibits. So he's doing them in New York. He's doing them in LA. He's doing them all over. And he puts the money out of his own pocket to make these things happen and bring people together. They're called We Are Golden. He just did one in New York right before this pod. So we dive into all things content creation, everything that he's doing. And I can't wait for you guys to get it. I don't want to hold this any longer. Let's get into this episode. Adrian, give me the one-handed crack. It's got to be in the air. I'm going to show you how to do it to start. That was an amazing one.
That was really good.
That was really good. Just super flush. I have high hopes for you.
Okay, here we go.
Yep. Get off the table.
I got to get a good eye on this. Here we go.
Okay, go.
Oh, fuck.
That was pretty good.
It wasn't bad. You just dented the piss out of it. Okay. Oh, double-sided dent.
Here's the thing, though. He's
his hand is hurting. His hand is hurting. The man got backed into by an Escalade. It's not your fault. So we're gonna deduct just a little bit.
Nah, don't go easy on me, bro.
You don't want me to go easy.
This is like less than a 5.
4-8, bro. 4-8. Here we go. Cheers to being on the fucking.
I can't even. Dude, I've done.
You did that shit on purpose to make it so better. So bad at
you should watch
every single episode. Everyone
I got a crater right there. Give it to me, Brandon.
That was just awful. 3-8. Cheers, boys. Welcome to the pod, Adrian.
Oh, so hyped to have you. So happy to be here.
Man, that's refreshing.
Oh, wow.
Have you had these before?
No.
No caffeine. Healthy hydration. Got a little bit of ashwagandha in there. We're gonna mellow out for this next little bit, dude. So you were just in NYC. You got to link up with Ethan Tran, Tim Chuisano, and our boy Carl Shakur,
and my
fam. How was it to link up with all these different creators and have them in one singular video?
I feel like you guys assembled the
Avengers crew, bro.
Honestly, so I like collaborating with people, right? So before any of this, content creation myself, like I'm a director, I'm a film director, I have a DP, I have my talent, I have all this. So I still feel like I'm better at directing and making stories using other people other than me. If I had it my way, I wouldn't have to be in front of the camera ever, really. I just so happen to do it.
It's so funny that you say that because you were so good on camera.
I think that's because I know what I want to see as a director. And when I would tell talent, like, you got to say your line like this, you got to have, the spacing or the cadence this way. Like, I know how to do it as a director. I just never saw myself as talent doing it. So with that being said, I would much rather just direct things with people in front of the camera, telling them what to do to make a good film. And me and Carl did one, I think about half a year ago when I was in New York. I forgot when it was. And I really enjoyed that one. Me and Carl, we love doing, collabs. And I hit him up again this time around, and I also hit up Ethan, and I was like, you know what, we can make this bigger than us. Like, let me think of an idea. And I just pretty much hit up the homies who I was also fans of their content and people who were unique with their own style. Ethan is very a one of one.
Totally.
Tim is a very one of one. Carl, nobody's allowed to do that other than Carl. Right. I mean, you could be inspired by it, but like this is Carl.
Snaps Carl.
And, dude, everyone was trying to figure out how to do that too. Like, there's literally tutorial videos.
Do it again.
And I love how cinematic her vlogs are, and like her personality just shines through. And I just was like, you know what? Let me try to craft a story with all these people. And I think a story about just being yourself, not necessarily originality, because nothing's original, right? But how I get asked all the time, like, how do you turn it on in front of the camera? I'm like, I don't really. Like, from when this camera turned on and we were recording to before, like, there's nothing different. Or even like me speaking to my camera, there's no difference. So I just decided to make a film about that, where we're playing each other's characters, where you can clearly tell if you're not being yourself or you're being somebody else. People will know. And that was the pretty much the foundation of the story. And I wrote up some lines and we executed it. We got sunburnt the entire day. Really, really toasty in New York in that convertible Bronco, but that's how it came about.
Do you ever feel like it, maybe in the beginning phases, like personally when I was doing YouTube in, I don't know what that was, like 2015, I felt like I was playing a character. And have you ever felt like that at any point earlier on when maybe you were just starting out at all? Or were you always just super comfortable in yourself?
I wouldn't say playing a character. I think it was more so not believing that myself was something that people would want to see. Like, I've grown, I've evolved over the years, but I was definitely more timid in how I delivered my lines because I wasn't as confident in people enjoying it. And now that I've noticed that, it kind of works. I've been able to just be more free with it. But I never wanted to change myself when the camera turns on. And that's because I've had so much experience as a director when a talent rehearses their line and it's perfect. And then we hit record, things are going. I'm like, why did you change it? What's wrong with you? It's just do it the way you did it before the cameras were rolling. So I've always carried that same that same ideology for myself.
When you get the chance to link up with Mai, with Tim, with Ethan, and with Carl, was there something that you might have pulled from just being around them and seeing their processes? Because these are people that a lot of our listeners look up to. A lot of people on the internet know their faces. Is there something maybe specific about one or maybe two of them that you're like, God, this is just an amazing process that I might need to pull, or something that I see other people being able to put into their content?
No. We all awkwardly set up our tripods. We all look at ourselves in the tiny little screen and we're like, okay, I think that looks good. And then we say our line or two, and then we say, let me do it a couple more times just in case. No, it's the same across the board.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a specific video that you put out that I love, that you showed the BTS. I believe you were at Grand Central Market, downtown LA. And there was a bunch of people around, and you're like Adrian, like, you got this, like, it's the line, and it's like everybody's looking, and like you do it, and it's so cool because when you see the finished product, it looks as it's so effortless, and you do it like one take, and that's just how it is. But seeing someone at your caliber even see you maybe like mess up a line or having to do it a couple of times, it's really I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like refreshing?
Yeah, it is really refreshing. Seeing someone at the top of their game, like, you also maybe have to do a couple of takes. But you've gotten to the point where you are very comfortable talking to the camera. There are a lot of kids who are just starting out who maybe when you were first starting out, how you were saying, like, I wasn't as comfortable speaking to the camera. For someone who wants to get more comfortable speaking in front of the camera, do you have a piece of advice? Is it just reps, or is it becoming just more confident in yourself?
First, thank you for the compliments.
Of course.
Before I answer that question, I want to address a couple of things. Two, I don't think I'm at the top of my game of delivery. I think I'm at the top of the game, like piecing things together. Because every single time I go out there and film a video, I still think like that. I'm a little bit more confident in delivery, but when you're filming in front of all these people with your big old camera setup, it's never fully comfortable.
Sure.
The reason why I do so many cuts in my videos is because I can't memorize that many lines. Like, I don't think I'm at the top of anything. I just say one or two lines at a time. But I'm glad that it seems like I know what I'm doing out there. So lastly, to answer the question, you just got to do it. Like you said, you just got to get your reps in. Because if you look at the delivery from some of my first videos to now, even the timbre of my voice has become more comfortable along the way. It's less, what's the word? It's less, I wouldn't call it monotonous, but the more comfortable you are, I guess, like the higher tone your voice is. And because I wasn't speaking so timid, later on, like I feel like just by doing the reps, there's no other way to get more comfortable with it other than just doing it.
And you've done it every day. Like we did a pod, the last pod we did was like how to film yourself. We talk about how like creativity and talking to the camera, it's a muscle that you have to build. And naturally, I feel like you've been doing it for like over a year now straight, like every day. You're naturally, of course, going to get more comfortable in front of the camera.
For sure. I want to say I went from being 30% comfortable to being like 70% comfortable.
I like the tip though of saying only one or two lines. I need to start doing that.
I mean, if you look at my shot list here, let me pull some up. For example, it's so funny that people called it the Avengers, and like the name of the shot list was called NYC Avengers.
That's funny.
So it's literally just like a couple of lines. So today we're going to talk about, that's it. Yo, man, that's my line. Everything is so short. Like, I'm not an actor. Like, there's no way I'm going to deliver a perfect piece of dialogue to the camera with a full emotion for 45 seconds straight. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a wicked game to be an actor. I wouldn't be able to just go for like a minute monologue.
No, man, that's so hard.
And while you were out in New York, though, you got to put on the We Are Golden. We Are Golden is this the 8th time that you've been able to do it?
Yeah. So this is my 8th exhibit.
Wow.
But the 7th and the 8th one were a little different because the first 6 was just my work. It was just my photography showcasing, what I was exhibiting. This time, I didn't showcase anything other than my film that I'm dropping whenever this comes out. It might already be out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Oh, wow. That's
quick turnaround.
What day is it today?
Today's Tuesday.
Oh my God. So yeah, no, the film comes out in a week and a half after this comes out. 2 Sundays from now. Yeah.
What's the film about, if you don't mind
me asking? It's about a cookie jar.
Okay.
It's about some bullshit ass cookie jar, man. I don't know if y'all ever seen it, but it's like this blue tin cookie jar that never had cookies in it.
Okay.
Have y'all ever had this experience?
No.
Oh, wow. So, so it might just be, I know this experience is transcended to different continents. Like people have told me from like Australia or like Europe, oh man, it's always a sewing kit up in that cookie jar. But it's a childhood experience about me wanting cookies from this cookie jar and there never being cookies in it. That's all it is. And I actually made this, I made this film back in 2022.
Oh, wow.
Before I started making content. But anyways, back to the We Are Golden stuff. Man, we're about to start yapping and getting sidetracked here tonight. So yeah, this is my first time showcasing other artists who do different disciplines of art. We had a writer, a painter, photographers, and it was cool. Like I made sure people weren't showing up to see my work other than the film. They were there to enjoy other artists' disciplines. And it was always a goal of mine to take, I guess, like my research if people were going to show up for these exhibits and then eventually branch it out to other people that I find awesome to showcase their work through my platform. And it worked out pretty well.
Yeah. How did you find the people that you were showcasing? Was it you reaching out to them or did people submit?
Mm-hmm. I reach out to them. I've just been fans of their work, and I think their work is just work that should be seen on a big scale. Some of them have a bunch of followers, some of them don't. But like the experience of having hundreds of people look at your art in real life, it's like so much cooler than like likes and comments on, through a screen. It's a whole different experience.
Totally. I mean, I feel like you've done a great job at just bringing people together. And can you talk to us about where this original idea came from to put on these exhibits? Because we were talking about this the other day, and when we went to the Colin Samir event, I got to actually meet you. Like when you're in real life with these people who are so fired up about the thing that they do, that they're passionate about, I think it like reignites it in me too, And can you just talk about what it's like to bring people together and why you do these exhibits?
Yeah, so I'm 33 now, and when I first had a camera, I think I was like 17 or so. My first little DSLR. There was like nothing for me to show up to where I can meet people who are on the same level or people that I can learn from, that wasn't gatekept behind a cool social club or you were already working on a film set. It was very, very gatekept. And, the way I carry myself, I don't even know how long it's been since I've carried myself this way, but I've always aspired to be somebody that like the 17-year-old version of me can look up to, or the 17-year-old person could like talk to and chop it up with, share some game with. And I thought like, let's do this in real life. I want to bring creators of different skill levels and different parts of their career, like all together. And I know some of them exist already, but I don't know. I've been to some that felt very cliquey, very egocentric. And I think we've built this community online that's just very supportive. Like no matter how good or how early in your career you are in making content or whatever you want to do. And yeah, I just wanted to bring it to real life. And I think if I were 17 to 19 to 21 or whatever age, if I'm just starting, I would want to show up to an event like this where I won't be judged by what I film on, what I know, what I don't know. And that's what I wanted to curate.
I mean, I think you can feel it from just the photos that I've seen from your event. Like, you're bringing people together. People are leaving their homes and actually getting to see people in real life. Like that, I think it's a beautiful thing, you know?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's something that we want to do. I mean, I literally wanted to ask you, what is an advice for us as we do an in-person event? Like, that's something we've been looking forward to, and we get to talk to so many people, but like you're saying, it's different over like a DM, and like, we want to physically see people in person. So you've now done 8 of them. So what advice do you have to us as we go off on this venture, hopefully at the end of the summer, to make an in-person event and bring people together?
As long as the intent and the purpose is about the community and not just inflating your ego that I can bring people through the door, people will sense that immediately. And that's something that I wanted to make sure was known from the jump. This isn't about me. This is about the art. This is about our community as a whole. This thing is supposed to supersede me, because like I said, a lot of people do these meetups and it's a business play, which I get. It costs money to do these things. I'm not looking to make money off of this thing. I do it because I want to do it. And as long as you stay true to it being, you know, put out there as like, this is for the community. This isn't just to say we have pull, we can do a huge meet and greet. Like, people will sense that immediately. And I know you guys aren't going to, you know, base it around that, but you know, there's people out there who want to have these, you know, pop-ups and meet and greets just for that purpose, to say that, to feel like they're a somebody. And as long as you're doing it with the proper intent and purpose, people will feel that and sense that.
You did this one in New York, and you told us that your community you feel is strongest in New York. So can you touch on this event in particular? Did it feel a little bit more special being in New York, where you feel like your community runs a little bit deeper? And does New York have a special place in your heart as a creative? I know when I go to New York, I feel like creatively inspired, because that city has some energy that like you don't always get here in LA.
Really?
Like,
you don't feel that in LA?
Not as much as New York. I think I grew up in LA, so I feel almost, I guess in a way, jaded or like used to like the lifestyle in LA. And maybe it's because I don't spend enough time in New York. I love New York, and I feel so like creatively like inspired when I'm there. And I don't necessarily feel it all the time here in LA.
He gets a boosted board when he gets off the plane. he just starts riding around. Yeah. There's a gorilla pod waiting for him at the security line.
Coast is nice that, man. I love that. So I don't necessarily think New York is my biggest market. That's just what like my statistics tell me.
Gotcha.
On my social platforms. I don't have like a certain affinity to any city, whether it's LA, San Francisco, New York, Paris, whatever it may be. That's just what the statistics say.
Gotcha.
Were there more people in New York than LA? No, there wasn't more people in New York. I mean, it was I don't know what the bigger market is, but I will say the energy in New York and LA is completely different. But they're both amazing. They're both super welcoming. But the consensus from what I've heard from people in New York is that there's not enough of that going on. So people were hype. They were juiced. There's a lot of cool events going on in LA all the time where you have the opportunity to meet other creators. But, you know, a lot of them are like invite only, or it's a ticketed event. This thing, it's free for anybody and everybody.
So you put this on out of your own pocket for those that don't know.
Yes.
Wow.
I do.
It's amazing.
Thank you. It's something I've always wanted to do. I know it'll pay off sometime in the future, but I'm enjoying it. And the cost of it, it's nothing in comparison to what I feel like we all get out of it.
How long is the event? And like, walk us through, do you have like a 30-minute or an hour, like people are coming in, there's drinks, like then do people sit down to watch the film? Like, how do people interact with like the art and people there? Like, what is it like?
So it's open from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and I wanted to screen my film right at 8 o'clock. And then I did just a short Q&A after. I think it was like 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then we all just hang out after. Sick. Like the first 2 hours, people are just enjoying the art. They might have known about the artist, they might have not, but it's just people mingling. And people are coming in with different cameras. People are coming in with just good energy, and people are just linking up, exchanging ideas, contact information. It's such a cool thing to see, man. Like, it's crazy because I actually haven't had a chance to process like any of this. And when my exhibits were over, I was straight to thinking about what was happening next week here in LA, which I just did. I did a panel. I hosted a panel on Sunday, which was another really, really cool event. But yeah.
So you had your girlfriend, you had 3 other female creators, right?
At the exhibits?
Yeah. No, the specifically the one in LA.
Yeah, the first exhibit, yeah, that was my girlfriend Sam. She's a writer. I had a photographer, Marilyn Hugh, incredible photographer, another photographer named Dangy, and a painter, Kim Cruz.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all different mediums. It's really cool bringing all those people together.
And their work it's so dope.
Yeah.
So, there's they all have different followings that don't really cross paths with each other. So I thought it'd be cool to just, bring a whole bunch of people in who's never seen their work before. And yeah, it was sick, man. Like, I didn't know how it was going to go. I knew that my platform was going to be the foundation of it. And I didn't know, how it was going to be received. Like, are people going to be there just to watch a film or just for us to like meet and hang out? But nah, people were genuinely appreciating the art, talking to the artists, and it was really cool, and talking to each other.
Mm-hmm. You said you haven't really felt like you've had a chance to like take all of this in.
No.
Now, how do you recharge your batteries? Like, do you feel like you're an extroverted person? Do you feel more introverted? What's it kind of like when you get home and you're like, holy shit, we just put on this insane event? Like, what does that relaxation look like for you? Or are you just back out there and continuing to do all these awesome things?
I think just because specifically this month, it was like the first month of May was preparing. I mean, the first week of May, we were preparing for LA and then New York. And while I was in New York, we were prepping for the exhibit here. So it's like which is like a super rare, heavy loaded month. So I haven't had a chance to process it at all. But for the most part, and that's why I had, it took me a second to think about like, what was it like? I'm like, damn, I don't know. What was it like? Let me like recall my memory. Yeah, I mean, I don't ever feel burnt out. Sometimes I'll work hard to the point where I know I need to take a mandatory rest day, but because I schedule myself to be pretty balanced in terms of health, friendships, relationships, work, I don't ever feel like I need a recharge day unless I'm sick.
Do you think it's because you love what you do in this path that you're on?
Yeah, it's definitely because I love what I do, but I mean, don't get me wrong. It's work also sometimes, because I'm not just content creating. My production company's been going on since 2014, somewhere around there. And that's still a big part of my business. I still have to run that. And yeah, I don't want to say that there's not days where I don't feel like doing it, because I mean, I would much rather be doing this than anything else. But yeah, I think I just got really good at scheduling me time. So I don't feel like I need I need these 2 days to just unplug and recharge. Sometimes, but like rarely do I ever feel the need for that.
This is because he's dropping balls 450 dead center at Rancho Park, dude.
That's deep, bro.
That's what your swing looks like, dude.
Bro, no, I'm not good at golf.
You really look like you're good at golf. So
better than me, I'll tell you that much.
I have a good golf swing.
I get very frustrated golf, dude. It makes me so goddamn mad.
That's what I love about it.
Really?
Because you get like that one
good hole, one par hole.
Bro.
See, I like going to softball because I feel like fucking, Aaron Judge out there, and I'm just hitting balls like 350 dead center. I'm like, this is it. Like, this is me. This is me. I make my friends go watch me.
Braden came home the other night. He goes, dude, how do I like get in contact with like a AA minor league team?
Because I feel like I could really help out.
I could really help out.
It's so funny, dude. What other activities do you like to do besides golfing, hanging out with Sam? What else recharges those batteries?
Man,
what's that me time look like for Adrian?
Golf, hanging out with Sam, hanging out with my dog,
You got a cute ass dog.
Thank you. I love him, man. Hanging out with friends, man. Like my work schedule, or my schedule in general is like maybe 75-80% work, but like that 20% of me time, that's all I need. Like that feels like 100% of what I need to do. Eating good food, hitting the sauna after a good workout, just the simple things in life, man. Like,
sauna
it's
hits,
nothing.
dude.
It is nothing too extravagant. Driving a car that I like, you know, cooking food and it's good. Little things like that. Just the little wins make like all the mundane things that I do in between the hard work equals like a great recharge. Watching golf videos. I watch a lot of golf YouTube.
Really?
That is my most watched thing. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Like Bryson DeChambeau.
Dude,
Fucking.
you want to talk about a guy that hits bombs.
Yeah.
That dude hits bombs.
Insane. What he's bringing to the golf space.
It's insane. Him making his own clubs.
Dude, yeah.
Wild.
Right. And like.
He's wild.
Yeah, Grant Horvat, GM Golf, the good guys, like Luke Kwan, like all those guys are so sick to me, dude. Like I'm such huge fans of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they have no idea that I exist.
You're just on a random channel.
Well,
Dude,
now they do.
The Bryan Bros, like they're so sick to me.
That's funny.
That would be the dream job. Just me play golf.
Playing golf
terribly, making videos about it. Yeah.
I think all those guys watch our pod. So if they don't know about you yet, now they do. But okay, so now you feel recharged. Like, when is the next event and where is it going to be if you have that planned out?
I don't have it planned. I do not.
I want to come to one.
Yeah,
if you do another one in LA,
I'd love to.
It probably won't be until next year. I don't know what it looks like, man. What I do want to do is I don't want to make them grand events where a shit ton of people show up once a year. Like I want to make them very intimate. I want to do them on the regular. I just it costs so much money to like continue renting spaces. I don't know if it's like partnering with a coffee shop or a couple of businesses.
We got a coffee shop for you.
My buddy Sam just took one over in Venice. So
right there on Abbot Kinney.
He's trying to do more like events type stuff.
Yeah,
he's got a good really cool outdoor area, a lot of parking.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do a Creators in Coffee.
Well, I might have the space for you.
Yeah.
Seriously,
we pull up. That'd be super fun.
I love the name too.
Ooh, that is.
I don't know why
it's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, because they have cameras in coffee, they have cars in coffee, and those are very specific. I think like creator means everything from like designer, architect, interior decor, videos, whatever it is.
Everything under the sun.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a flag on the play. My apologies. I know.
What's going on?
Keep doing this because I got to bring up a very important message from Lexar. Okay. They've sent us over the Lexar Armor 700 SSD. If you need a place to store your videos, a lot of people making videos watching this. Okay. This is going to be a great place. We got 2,000 megabits of read and write. I'm talking that fast.
That is fast.
Lightning, dude. Lightning.
You said it has armor in the name.
Yes.
Does that mean it's like rugged?
Let's find out. You think that's good for it? Doesn't even matter because this thing is tough. It's built tough, dude. Okay.
This is like the perfect hard drive for you because
you think I should check? I should go check. You be
dropping stuff, man.
This is water resistant, dust resistant, drop resistant up to a pretty solid distance. I've been testing it out because I drop everything, and it's been standing the test of time.
I love that.
Yeah, so you guys should all go check it out. I'm gonna link it down below. Check out the Lexar Armor 700 SSD. So on January 29th of 2023, you posted your first ever vertical video stating that you were gonna go for 365 in a row. So talk to me about leading up to this decision. What was going on in your life at that period of time that made you say that I want to do this, I want to commit to this? And why did we get to see you for 365 days in a row?
The honest truth and answer, two things. But the honest truth and I think the hardest thing to say, I've never said this actually publicly ever. I would complain to my girlfriend like, man, content online sucks. Everybody's trying to make this super high, fast paced, I don't know, just like it feels like watching ADHD. It was anxiety inducing. Everything was just pop-ups. Nothing felt like art on social media anymore. And I would hate it. I'd be like, man, these people that I used to like, they're making content. They're not making art. So I stopped watching a lot of content. I dabble in a lot of Vimeo, actually, and that's where I find a lot of inspiration in art. And she would tell me, like, why don't you just go make it? Stop talking shit. Just go do it. You have the capability to do it. I'm like, no, but it's so corny. And she'd be like, it's corny because they're doing it in a way that they think is working for this one specific person, and it's not themselves. If you just do it your way, like maybe it won't be corny. Who knows? And I sat on that idea for, I don't know, half a year or so. I've been ranting about this because social media used to be a place where I could look on Instagram and be inspired by somebody's photograph. And now, or at the time, especially with like the hide like feature, people felt so embarrassed to share their work because they felt like they don't have the validation that it's good. So they would post less, or they would post things to feed the algorithm or feed what gets the most likes. And everybody's work started looking the same. And I just stopped looking at Instagram for inspiration. It sucked. I don't know did you guys feel that way at all?
Yeah, I felt we talked about this with Hayden Hilliard the other day. He's a really talented editor, but we were saying how it just felt like, and kind of right now with a lot of stuff, specifically on this TikTok, for me at least, it feels like I'm in a revolving door and you just can't get out. And like you see the same shit that's like copied and pasted from all the way down the line, And it's just like, yeah, you're missing. I missed the days of where we'd wake up to go to class and we get thrown Casey and like had this story, this like real story every day to like look forward to.
I feel like right now though is better than where it was 2 to 3 years ago.
For sure. I think a year ago it was pretty brutal, and I think we're starting to see people are slowing down. Yeah, you're actually getting to watch something like you're saying, not being like, yo, what did I just watch?
Getting slapped in the face by captions.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, one word captions. Yeah, crazy.
Bro. I think TikTok, because of trends, like Instagram didn't really have trends before TikTok came around, and so then once the trends became a thing, like everyone was doing the same trends, so then I think that's why you got so much content that looked the same.
For sure. And it was specifically for Instagram. Like when I log on to TikTok, I know I'm there for the brain rot. I'm just scrolling away. Like I know I'm there to lose brain cells. And that's just what the platform's for. I don't want to say that's what it's for, but that's what I use it for. Dude, my For You page is it's ridiculous. But on Instagram, like, yeah, I always thought it was a place where people can post their art or their photographs or their cool video clips. And that was sick in 2018, 2019, up until then. And then it started, with the advent of doing trends. And then when Reels came along, like people were bringing their TikTok style to Instagram, and I was just tired of it. So I devised a plan. I was like, all right, I'm going to try it out. And then October of 2022 came around, and my father passed, like super random. And I was like, damn, I really got to do something with myself. Like I'm the I guess the man of the house now. I got to figure out a way to not just, I don't know what to call it. Like me being a director wasn't like a silly little thing. Like it was a legit thing. But for whatever reason, I still felt like I could do more. There were a lot of ideas that I had that were I couldn't bring into my work as a professional. So in November, I started making this plan of posting every day, and I filmed that video, I'm posting every day for 365 days, before I started posting my first video. I had a backlog of about 6 weeks of everyday content. Yeah, I started filming in November, and January 1st came around. It went up, and it was just kind of like history from there. Like
it was meteoric on both platforms.
It was slow. It was slow first.
On both of them?
Yeah. So January 1st.
I feel like your TikTok one, when I saw it first, it was like, it was already kind of popping. That first video that you posted.
Well, the first video wasn't that January 29th video.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The very first video went up on January 1st, 2023.
Oh, interesting.
And
so you had already 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why I posted that I'm posting on TikTok every single day later is because I wanted to show people proof that I was actually doing this challenge. So my whole job prior to that was working on social media like rollouts for whether it was for music singles or albums, and I kind of just took the strategy that we use for whether it's rolling out a product or any of those things to myself. Like you can't just say, I'm doing this, trust me, follow it. Had I posted that first video on January 1st or January 2nd without proof and backlog of me posting every day already, it probably wouldn't have been as powerful as people seeing it. Oh, he's already posted 28 days straight. And not just every day. I was posting like 3 times a day at pretty similar quality. And yeah, I just felt like that was the right move to do. I'd had that video in the can, ready to go. And my goal for TikTok at the end of the year, I think I had like 800 or so followers at the time, was 10,000. I was like, 10,000 is hard to get. I'm going to aim for 10,000 at the end of the year, and we'll see what happens. I posted it January 29th, and I knew it was a good enough video and different enough that people were going to be like, oh, this is interesting. It'll probably get like 20,000 views, which is a lot. To me, that's a shit ton of views. 20, 30, 40, 50,000 if I'm lucky. And it did that from January 29th to February 10th. Yeah, I think it got about like 20 to 30,000 views. I was satisfied. I was still posting every day from 29. Like I didn't miss a single day. And then one morning I woke up, I think it was February 11th. I was like, holy shit, 50,000 followers. Something is not right here. This was on TikTok. Yeah, I was like, this is strange. And I remember the day I was playing golf with the homies. I woke up super early and we were in the golf cart. Every single hole, it'd be like 2,000 new followers, 3,000 new followers. I'm like, what's going on? This is strange as fuck. And the views were kind of lagging also because it just was skyrocketing on TikTok. And I was like, okay, well, I guess TikTok is my thing now. Instagram, it was still quiet. I think it took another week for it to blow up on Instagram. And I don't know how people discovered it. I don't know if it was somebody really popular who reposted it that was like the catalyst for more people to see it and share it. But yeah, the video was sitting up there for like 2 to 3 weeks before any traction happened on it. And then it was just like, boom, 3 days, 100,000 followers. I was like, this is weird. This is strange. I don't know. And yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know who reposted it. I know the video was good, but was it that good? I don't think so. Like there's people who are posting really, really, really high quality things out there that don't see that growth. I know a lot of it is luck. I think I got a whole lot of lucky when this came out. I think it was a timing. I think people hadn't seen this slow content on the short form platforms. It was a whole lot of things that worked in my favor at the time. People were getting short form fatigue. And yeah, had I dropped it in March, had people already been doing this style, I think I would have got lost in the mix.
It's so crazy, man.
We were saying it was kind of similar to when Casey came on the scene. Everyone was doing like the vlogging stuff, but he came and switched up the style and forced people to kind of elevate their game. And like, yeah, I hadn't really seen that style from really anybody else. And I think it's really inspired like a bunch of people to start doing that type of content, slowing down a little bit. It's just really cool that you kind of, in a way, like pioneered or were at like the forefront of slowing down content.
Vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anything that I did was original, though. I'm going to be completely honest. People on YouTube were already doing great slower content for years. It's just for whatever reason, because we only have 90 seconds to deliver our message on short form, it just became too quick. I just wanted to bring back that same feeling I got in the golden ages of YouTube and content creation, but within 90 seconds. I don't want to say people give me too much credit. People give me a lot of credit. I think I could say that. People give me too much credit for being this pioneer of, man, you changed up the game. And sure, maybe in some ways, maybe realizing that you don't have to do this, but I think everybody has already done this. I think I just reminded people that you don't have to do this trendy stuff or be somebody that you're not. You don't have to be any of the things that people were trying to be at that time, and they started just doing things and making things that they genuinely like. And I think that's what I brought out of people. But I don't think my style is anything different than what some of the greatest people on YouTube have been doing for forever.
I mean, I think it's wildly entertaining though, and I think that it's the difference is it's you. You know, it's like you are the one in front of that camera, and that's like, well, that's what it's making it like people love your content from all over the fucking world, you know. And I have a question about the decision to go with a camera instead of a phone, because myself personally, I hate filming with the phone for like videos like that. I just don't like it. Feels very comfortable and native for me to bring the ZV-1 everywhere I go. And I know you had a Blackmagic to start.
Yeah.
That you lost in the rain.
It actually came back to life.
Oh, it came back. You kept it.
Yeah.
On the shelf and it lived.
Yeah. I didn't even have to put it in a bag of rice.
Oh, thank God.
It just turned back on like a couple weeks later.
Wow.
I put a different battery in there, and I think because, I don't know, it was just so soaking wet. Maybe it was like a protection mechanism for it to not fry itself. Yeah. But I guess when it dried up, it started to work again.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah. Well, talk to me about the decision to go with a camera and go with this higher production value than people were used to seeing on TikTok. Because I think even now, people that I talk to in social media management or people that make a lot of TikTok, they're like, yo, TikTok doesn't want to see a camera, and they're wrong. They're clearly wrong. Yeah. It's like this is the proof that it can work. Why did you decide to use the camera? And do you think other people can still find success with that on the apps, on vertical specifically?
Yeah. So my decision to go with a camera, it was specifically for the scripted short films. I still make recaps with my iPhone. Like I did the F1 recap or the PGA Tour recaps with my iPhone. Like I still mix in a lot of mobile phone footage.
Do you shoot in log or no? Just the standard?
Not just the standard.
Okay.
I mean, I have log now, but it just takes up so much space.
Yeah, it's like fucking 5 gigabytes to airdrop it.
Yeah, dude, no. But I feel like, first of all, I love cameras. I'm the biggest camera nerd. I could tell you everything about every single camera on the market, but I also don't like the culture behind camera snobbiness.
Flag on the play.
Another one?
The second one that we're going to do. This is the last one I'm going to do, I promise. Okay, we have a pricing guide because I want you guys to make more money. Whether you're a filmmaker, content creator, graphic designer, I want you to get more bread in your pocket. And we have this guide, basically it's an hour YouTube video where we walk you through how to price your projects, whether you're trying to be a freelance content creator, whether you're, hey, I want to act as an agency, I want to have multiple people on my team, or you want to price your projects for a brand. This is going to be so helpful for you, and it's literally less than $100. And it's going to make you more than that.
Well, what's so great about it is that we have, I believe, like 10 different niches. So whatever you shoot, we tell you how much you should price certain projects for, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced.
And we're not pricing by the hour anymore, baby. It's 2024. We're pricing on a per project basis. So we want to help you make more money. It's linked down below. Check out the pricing guide. Let's get back into Adrian Purr's episode.
I don't think you need a full frame camera or an expensive or a new camera to tell a compelling story. I don't think you need good color grading. I don't think you need good lighting. A good story is a good story no matter what you film it on. But if you understand, what a camera can give you in terms of like depth, how you can better drive out emotion, then yes, introduce a camera. If you understand what focal length you need to film on for things to feel intimate or to just whatever emotion you want to pull out, it will make your story it'll help your story. It won't make your story better. It'll help it. And because I know cameras like the back of my hand, I felt like, yes, let's do this on a camera. But sometimes, dude, like I can't even tell you how much I hate lugging around my camera everywhere on a vacation or at an event. It's the most inconvenient thing. I hate it. But yeah, it's just because I know how to use it. And I don't think people should feel like you need the same kind of camera that I need to make stories that are just as compelling. I feel like one of my favorite videos that I've ever done was the Coachella in your 30s. And that was all iPhone. And that's, I think, one of my best performing videos. And had I shot it on a ZV-E1 or a red camera, it wouldn't have been any different.
All about the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And going off of that, you give away like the font you use, the color yellow you use. I feel like everybody gets so caught up in like, oh, what technical things is he using? Camera, lens, font color. And you're like, yo, this is what I use. I don't need to hide this. Like, I'm going to be successful because of the story that I'm telling, not because of the camera that I'm using or the font that I'm using.
Exactly. People ask all the time, what do you edit on? What titles or what color font are you using? What subtitle font is that? You can have it all. Try to make just as good of a story. Try to make a better story. You can have it. See if it works for you or not. I don't give a shit. I don't own those fonts. I don't own those colors. Fucking, what's his name? Quentin Tarantino, yellow font, OG. Like, it's not even me. Like, I don't think any of those make a better story. So you could have it. If people feel like me giving them the plug and play sauce to make their videos better, then sure, we're not going to tell the same story. We could have the same exact prompt, the same exact camera, the same exact lens, the same exact skill level. Our stories are still going to come out differently. And that's okay. I don't give a shit. Like, we all have such different perspectives.
You could also give the same footage to two different editors, and the video is going to come out completely different.
Completely different. It could be even the same shot list to the same timing.
Facts.
It'll be completely different. So.
You could take the same person, give them the same footage, and like, depending on the day, they might edit the video differently.
For sure. That's why I never cared about giving away the free game. There's a lot of people charging for the things that I just say out there for free. And it's just, I wish when I was coming up in this, I could learn as much as I could from my own videos as somebody who was trying to figure it out, which is why I do it.
What is just out of curiosity for the people that are really curious, what is the go-to kit that you would make a short form video with? Like down to the T with the mic, the lens choice, the camera, because we love cameras at 505.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love cameras too. I do.
Big camera nerds in this chat.
Dude, I could any brand, any model, I could tell you everything about it. Wow. And why I like it, why I don't like it. So my go-to kit would be the Sony ZV-E1. It would be the Rode Wireless Pro with the Lavalier 2 attachment, the Tamron 20 to 40 millimeter 2.8 lens, and a Manfrotto B-Free 3-way tripod, and just a handful of batteries. Boom. I'm not a fan of the V-mounts. I'm not a fan of external monitors. I'm not a fan of any of it. The least amount of friction I can have and the most compact and lightweight and easy to maneuver rig is all I need.
Mm-hmm. And right now, are you still storyboarding everything in your notes like you showed us? Is that a standard for every Adrian video?
Every single thing that I do. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Pre-pro is everything, man. People don't realize that.
Yeah. My edit is done in the Notes app.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's super easy for me to pull my footage up and just match a shots with what line goes where. And you just have to trust it. And that's because I've been directing, and you just have to trust the process of shooting out of chronological order. But if you make your shot list, if you make your script and you go out and film, because we're not all filming in chronological order, it'll come out exactly as how you scripted in pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How often are you like coming up with new ideas? How often are you filming? Are you batching? You said that you made 6 weeks worth of videos before you even put out your first one.
Do you have like a bunch of backlog videos still, or do you create like a new one every single day?
I'm about 6 weeks ahead of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We need to take a note from you, dog.
It's just like I said earlier, you know, the reason why I don't feel burnt out, the reason why I don't feel like I need this extra recharge time. I am so meticulous with my scheduling. I do time blocking. Time blocking is easy. It's a discipline that's hard. Sticking in to that, you know, that time block to set yourself to do these things, but I stick to it religiously, and it's changed my life.
Okay, tell me tomorrow, what does a time block look like for someone who's trying to get into time blocking? What the hell does that even mean?
I want to get into it.
It's so simple.
Okay,
it really is so simple.
Okay. And are you an early morning kind of guy? Or we call the late night hours sketch boy hours, so like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Like, are you staying up that late? Are you more early? What's the vibe?
It depends.
Okay.
If I wake up super early, I try not to wake up super early a bunch of days following. It just really depends on my energy levels and how I schedule myself. But I know 3 days out the week, I'm up at 6:30. The other days, probably like 8 a.m., 8:30. Get my day started at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. But this is time blocking right here. You just put things in your, well, you can't really see it like this, actually. Can you see it this way?
Oh, okay.
There we go.
There we go.
So that's all it is. It's just blocks of time.
And you're setting specific things that you're doing in each of these little blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And do you do this on a Sunday? Does this all get done on a Sunday, or does it get done on like variously throughout the week? You're adding more into it.
Yeah, it's the way I like to describe it is it's structured but not rigid. Like if I'm running late for something, or if I finish something early, I could adjust it, or I'll find different times to schedule new things. But I write it in here like, let's see.
I need to start using my calendar better.
You do.
You should.
Everything's just on like
God damn it.
Google
Like,
Docs.
Holy
like,
shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something where you actually see me say content planning. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll schedule it in there, and it's all color coded.
Oh, the color coding's big, dude.
You're meticulous, man.
Or do you feel like
the red is filming days. The yellow is edits. The brown is writing. So I know exactly what I need to do for each project.
And I like how you're saying how you're not rigid with it, because I think too, as creatives, it changes sometimes, man. You might get hit, like you're saying, you might get hit up by someone. You're like, oh, I have to go do this shoot, or I have to go, carry out this job. And every day it could be a little bit different.
Yeah, I like having structure. The structure allows me to have a better work-life balance. It allows me to not burn out, because before I was scheduling, myself as meticulously, I was working late. And the only reason why I was working late is because I had the freedom of time. Nobody is telling us when we need to finish our passion projects by. It's us. So I just treat it like I'm working for myself. And I envy the fact that, when you work a 9-to-5 job, after 5 o'clock, you get to leave that out the door. So I don't stay up as late because I am very, very structured in my scheduling. Like once a certain time hits, I'm like clocking out.
Done.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Also, this helps, right?
Okay.
I'm going to start doing this tomorrow.
So I have
this is
all these
brilliant.
What app is this on? Notes?
Just Notes. I don't use Notion or any of that.
I can't use Notion, dude.
Yeah.
Our buddy Ed is like Notion god, and I just cannot get behind it.
It's
I'm like,
too complex.
Too complex for me too.
Yeah.
I can't do it, man. I envy the people that can do it really well. I'm like, dude.
They look like they have their life so together. It's so
dialed,
frustrating.
So dialed. I like the notes though. I'm a big notes app guy, so I think I might have to. I didn't
even know you could do grids
in
notes.
You can. It's all the same thing.
Grids,
man.
okay. During college, I had no idea of Google Calendar, and I was working for the Ducks, and we're just doing all the most random fucking hours at school. We're going to these games, and we're staying up till like 1 o'clock, and we're going out at the party, and then you're like, your schedule's all messed up. And I remember the business kids, like my buddies in the business school, they got these fucking Google Calendars, and I'm like, dude, I'm just like, I'm just waking up and like going, bro. And I think like once I graduated, I met one of my friends at work was like, yo, you need to use a calendar, dude.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
This is how people like function. Cause I'd be like, what day is that shoot again? They're like, you gotta stop asking.
That's me.
You gotta stop asking what day the fucking shoot is. I bug Kostas all the time. Like, bro, you know in Outlook what day the thing is. He's like, oh, I don't have that Outlook calendar.
Bro, it's life changing. It really is. I started doing this in 2018, and my work-life balance has, it's fucking beautiful. That's it, bro. I'm not like, I used to really be up until 4 a.m. working on things just because like I didn't have these windows of time that I can complete these by. And what's cool too is it ends up becoming, I feel like it's gamified my life. Like, damn, I have probably 45 minutes left and there's like an hour worth of editing left. Let me try to just like rush through this thing. And and sometimes I finish early. Sometimes I surprise myself. I'm like, oh, well, I get like 10 minutes of brain rot. My reward for looking at a big screen is looking at a little screen right after.
And just scrolling.
Yeah.
So time blocking has allowed you to stay as consistent as you have been on social media and short form content. You decided to post every single day and you put both feet in. You didn't have like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, kind of dilly-dallying. And I feel like that is a reason why a lot of people maybe don't see success, is because they say they want to do something, but they don't go all in. Do you feel the reason why you've been able to have so much success on social media is because you went all in with it as opposed to having just 1 foot in?
Yes, but also, like I said earlier, I think a lot of luck. But you only get lucky if you're putting up the shots. Like you're not, you know what I mean? Like out of every 100 darts that I throw at the dartboard, maybe only like 3 of them are bullseyes. And those are the lucky ones because I'm not a dart master, right? I'm just putting my reps in. But what I don't like about a lot of people who are on the hope core side of things is that if you just keep going, you will get there. Yes, to a certain degree. Yeah, that's true. But you have to adapt. You have to understand the market. What does a market want? Yeah, right? Like I came into this space and it worked because people were getting tired of the super fast-paced edits, and that worked out. Had I done this style back in 2018, 2017, would it have worked out? I don't know. Maybe not. People weren't as tired. And I don't want to say make things for the market or make things that'll work, but like you have to be self-aware enough where to improve, what's working, what's not working. You have to understand, and you know, if things aren't working for years and you feel like you've been doing this full on, it might not be the hard work. It might be the content. And nobody's to say the content's bad. Maybe you're just a little too late. Maybe you're a little too early, but just, you know, making sure your ego isn't fragile, but yeah, I think there were a lot of factors. And one of them is being fully like 100% in with it. But I could have been 100% in with this today and it might not have worked. I just have to be completely honest with myself. I think had I done it in 2020, I was a completely different person. I felt like I was a little out of control. Like my ego was a lot bigger back then. It was more inflated. I thought I was way cooler than I really am back in the day. And if I made content when I was that person, I don't think any of it would have worked.
So it's so interesting to hear you reflect on it on back in like 2020. And what was going on then? Were you just directing music videos at the time?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to direct some of the coolest and biggest and just my wildest dreams. And obviously not Beyonce and Drake, but like some really, really big musical acts, some really, really big primetime television. I've had the opportunity on doing post-production for Super Bowl commercials. I've been offered jobs that like money that I didn't know what to do with, and me not knowing what to do with it led me to buy dumb things. Imagine waking up one day and saying, I want to buy this car. And then you do it. Like, why? And, you know, I'm in LA, I'm single at the time, and I just thought I was hot shit because I was hanging out with a bunch of other people who were hot shit. And had I started making content around that era, I mean, we've seen a lot of YouTubers turn into, they think they're celebrities. I am the furthest thing from a celebrity, and I don't want to be famous because I've lived through all these things and got to understand like that's not really me. That's not the life I want to live. That's not the person I want to portray on the internet. Like, I just had to live my truest self. And at some point, I wasn't living my truest self. I was living to appease this image that I thought I wanted other people to have. And that's why, you know, when somebody's 23 and they have, you know, your outlook on life is, I've been putting in this hard work. Maybe it's the algorithm. The algorithm isn't rewarding me. Like, you have to take a really deep look at yourself and say, is it the algorithm or is it the art? Because I thought I was making the best art in 2020 when I wasn't. Like, it wasn't the truest. And, you know, I'd made vlogs back then, and I've been doing this, making my own content here and there for a while. And like, I look back at it and be like, God, this would never work if I posted this tomorrow. And, yeah, that's just how I look at it. I don't think hard work will get you there, and the hard work not meaning the skill and the talent, but just everything around it as well, like the soft skills. Yeah. Being a good person. Are you being you? Like, just like I said, being self-aware.
I think that's the beauty of getting older. I look back on old YouTube videos that I've made, and it's cringy because I'm like,
I feel that.
I didn't know who I was as a person. I'm trying to emulate what was working
for other people.
Being like bigger than life. And I look back and I'm like, that's not you. And it's so clearly not you that like, no wonder it didn't work.
Yeah.
And the beauty of like getting older and getting to know yourself a little better is being able to bring that into, if you are making content, bring that into your art, and like being able to be more authentically yourself because you just know who you are more. But that comes later on in life, I feel like, as you've had life experience and getting to know yourself better.
Absolutely. And some people, it happens earlier. Some people get to figure out who they are at a younger age. I didn't. My life started so late. I was living with my parents until I was 27. And if you're older than that, still living with your parents, that's also okay. Because, man, life is fucking expensive. And yeah, my life started later, and I've got to live really high highs alongside some of my lowest lows at the same time. And all that perspective from those times, all those times of all the adversities is just helped me make the most authentic content to who I feel like I truly am. But I mean, it might not be that 5 years from now. I might be a completely different person.
Regardless, you're not going to be the same person 5 years from now. It might be, you know, completely different. It might be just slightly different. But I think like if you aren't improving or changing as the years go on, like you don't want to stay stagnant. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. And I think that's why my content worked. And
yeah.
I think I don't think I have the keys to success. I think I know how to tell. I think my biggest strength is getting somebody to believe that the version of themselves or the version of self-improvement, the journey that they're on, is the right path. And I think once you understand that, the best content will be made and people will start feeling that.
One of the things stylistically that I love that you do in your videos, you go back and forth between talking to the camera and then voiceover.
That's a damn skill, dude. You'll be like doing, and then you're like, and that's how I did that. I'm like, got me, dude. You got me. I was waiting for the voiceover, and then you just come in.
How do you decide which lines you're going to read directly to camera versus voiceover? It's a skill.
I just feel it. I just feel it.
It's got the touch.
I just watched a lot of movies. It's Martin Scorsese does a lot of that, like having a character narrate his or her scene. Let's say it's Leonardo DiCaprio narrating himself walking through his mansion in, what movie was that? Wolf of Wall Street. He'll be walking through his mansion or him talking about like, oh man, I took a couple of more Quaaludes than I should have, and I drove my Lamborghini back and I thought it was in perfect shape, and then I got home, and then it would be the same shot, and then within that same shot there's no breaks in it, and he'd be like, oh man, Help me up. I take a lot of inspiration from movies. So then another thing, not original to me at all.
Do you got the AMC Movie Pass? I just got on board with that.
I don't.
Dude, you got to get, it's $25 a month. You can go like 3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
I've been going all the time. It's great.
I love movies.
And the medium, I'm selling this damn thing.
I love going to watch movies. Sometimes I watch alone.
I went by myself the other day to Planet of the Apes. It was really fun.
We should go.
It was very therapeutic.
We should both go alone together.
I love that. Yeah. I was sitting in there trying to not be on my phone. Yeah, because you
want to go to the movies together,
you go
but not sit together.
Yeah, you go up, I'll go down like a few.
And we could talk about it after.
Yeah, that'd be great. I was trying to be conscious about not touching my phone, and dude, it's a disease, bro. Like I remember I was sitting there and I grabbed my phone. I'm like, you fucking bitch, just be with your thoughts. Like,
wait.
I was trying to consciously
watch movies and look at your phone.
No. Before I was there like a half hour before because I really like the previews. Previews are a big thing for me.
I love previews.
That is a huge thing. My girlfriend tries to be fucking slow in the parking lot. I'm like, we got to get in the seats, dude. And she's like, it's not, we have 20 minutes. I'm like, no, we don't. We need to be there exactly on time.
We need to judge these movies.
I need to be ready.
We need to judge if we're going to watch this or not.
put in my notes. I'm like, this is one that I'm down to come back and see. And we're finally getting to where we can get there a little early. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude. I'm trying to get her there 30 minutes early so we get locked in. I want my popcorn. I don't want to be rushing it.
Here's the trick. You tell your girl
that's what I need to do.
20 minutes earlier than it really is.
That's what I need. You're playing chess, and that's what I need to learn from you. That comes with age.
Because like now,
time block it, dude.
Now we're on time,
exactly,
but it's a little early. God, no, we're a little late.
Yes, we're a little late.
It's still a little
and I
early.
can kind of act a little bit in the car, but like, come on, we got to get.
Oh, I do it all the time.
It's amazing.
She's not gonna watch this, so it's okay.
That's so funny.
She has to listen to me yap all the time.
That's so funny.
I love her though. I love her so much.
Get the AMC Movie Pass for sure. But
wait, hold on. Like, no girlfriend is ever on time, so it's okay.
No, facts. No,
they have to get ready.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I agree, and I respect it, and I need to just allocate a little bit more. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna do that at like, I'm gonna say, we got to get there at 7. It's gonna be 7:30. I'm already planning this out,
bro. If your movie is at 7:20, the movie ticket time is 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and I mean, this is great. I also bought the AMC thing for her on my account, so I'm never gonna allow her to see the damn ticket. I'm just gonna do it,
bro. Especially when it's IMAX film. Sometimes they don't even show previews.
Yeah,
like, we gotta be there.
We gotta be there on time. Gotta be locked and loaded, dude. Is there something that you feel like, I don't know if people send you their videos to maybe critique or take a peek at, or just when you're scrolling, specifically in our niche in this realm, that you see people making mistakes on? They're like, that's easy, and that's why this might not have done as well.
I've actually never looked at it through the lens of what mistakes did you make?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never. Not once.
People don't ask you like, hey, Adrian, critique this for me.
They do in the Discord a lot. People send their videos in our Discord every day, all the time. We actually also highlight some of my favorite videos every newsletter. Yeah. But no, I've never looked at it through that lens. I've always looked at it like, you know how when you discipline a dog, positive reinforcement is the best way to go. Yeah. No, I've always looked at it as positive reinforcement. I always highlight the things that I liked. And if they really want me to tell them like, how can I make this better? Then I'll tell them. But I'm never going to tell anybody that like, yo, the horizon is a little skewed. Maybe this is a little bit overexposed. I am very story based and not as technical based.
Okay.
And that's why when I did my short film contest, the winners weren't the most technically sound people. It's just like, did you make me feel something? And I judge it through that lens. Yeah.
From a storytelling perspective specifically, what from these videos that are winning that are you seeing that maybe is consistent throughout them?
They're damn good storytellers. And we did a mobile phone category and like everything else. They're just good storytellers, man. And it was so hard to pick a winner because everybody was just so the prompt was, tell me something about your hometown, or like, why do you love your hometown, or tell me anything about your hometown, or why do you hate your hometown? Some people made films about, I'm a citizen of the world. Home is a feeling. Home is all these other things, and it's not a city. Or I hate my hometown, but my hometown gives me all X, Y, Z. And like, yeah, some of them weren't even like, I guess, the most skilled films, but like God damn, they made me feel something. And that's what I look for. But if we're talking about like, if people want me to judge something on a technical like lens, I could rip it apart for sure. I could rip it apart. But I do it all the time with my own videos. All the time. You use the wrong focal length. This could have been better if it was framed a little differently. But I'm not this art curator. I'm not like the end all be all. If I think your video is, you know, technically sound, that's, people are always improving, and I don't want to be like the guy to make them feel like their work isn't good enough. I think they could ask other people for that. I think I'm just a guy you get asked if, is my story good? And I'll say yes, or you can fix it here or there.
You've crushed it doing short form, and that's what many people right now probably know you from. And they've seen your videos, but it's not where you started, and it's not what you currently do. There's a split here, right?
Yeah.
And you don't, people might not know this about you, but in 2012, you started Lumpia Watermelon with your boy Chaz.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the decision to go in with a fellow Bay Area native and why you guys teamed up and have created this awesome company that does amazing videos.
So I just felt like we had a lot of things in common. We're both from San Francisco, like inner city San Francisco kids. We grew up very, very similar. We wanted to see the same things. We wanted to make the same things. We wanted to go the same place. You know, ultimately, we wanted to move to LA, make big Hollywood films. But we were both just rooted in our passion and love for music. And we felt like the best way for us to, you know, just get our chops up was to do music videos. There are a lot of artists in the Bay that we had the opportunity of working with. And after a handful of videos, we were like, yo, we're a thing now. Like we had this chemistry. He knew how I was going to film, and he also sharpened me. He's like, you're missing this and this. We need these shots for the next films. And every single time we would work on something, we would improve. And I don't want to say he might not have needed me. Like he can edit anybody's videos, and he's editing everybody's videos now. He has his own post-production company specifically that he manages. But for me, I needed him. Like he made me so much better as a director, and the chemistry that we had when we first started making videos was like, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would be here. I don't think I would have had the opportunity in LA to work with as many clients as I did, because he really pushed me to just dive deep. And it was him, as well as so many of the other directors and people who had production companies, that was like, help me out, make me a better director. But him and I just like I said, what we wanted was so similar that it only made sense to do this thing together. I didn't want to use any other editor. I had worked with other editors in the past. I had worked with other editors even while we had Lumpia Watermelon. Even to this day, I use other editors. But like Chaz is just, he's the guy. He's continued to be the guy. He's been continuing to kill it. And now I only bring like the best of the best to him. If I, you know, when the budgets are correct, when the project is correct, like he's just skyrocketed.
Wow.
And yeah, we made Lumpia Watermelon in the Bay, and we took it to LA. No, we started in the Bay, and he went to Atlanta, and we were running it from San Francisco and Atlanta. I was shipping him drives all the time, working with some of the biggest artists in the Bay. Like, yo, you got to wait for my editor. And like, we're a team. Like, I'm not about to go to anybody else. If you want my look as a director, we're going to need Chaz. And eventually I moved to LA, and he moved not that long after. He left Atlanta, and we were in LA for a while just building. And yeah, and it's still here today.
Wow.
Yeah.
They say don't go into business with your friends. Me and Braden have started this. We started off as friends, and then we started this podcast. And I feel like we've been able to navigate it pretty well, where like, you know, when it's time to talk business, we talk business, but we're able to separate the two. How has that been going into business? You know, you're going on over a decade now with a friend. How have you been able to navigate that? And do you separate the friendship and the work, or is it kind of blended?
It's blended. I think because we both have the same business goals, We've always had the same business goals. We've always had the same creative goals. So it works out. Like, we've never veered off in different directions. And it's cool too, because he's directed some videos and I've edited some videos, but like, I don't aspire to be a full-time editor or run a post-production. He doesn't aspire to be like this full-time, just a director. So we don't step on toes. We don't cross paths. In the early days, it was just, I think we sharpened each other a lot, and it worked out that way. Like, it honestly never felt like a business. Like, we were just, because we didn't take in money as a company. Everything was an investment. Like, the way these production budgets are broken down, it's like, let's just say you get $100,000 budget, 10% director, 15% production company, 5% for everything else, maybe another 10 for post. And we never took that 15%. It wasn't a profitable business. It was just a production company so we could get paid as an LLC and, be looked at as a team and not just individuals. Yeah, we never took a penny.
It reminds me, we had a guy by the name of Jeremiah Davis on, super talented creator. He has a production company with his buddy Reese. And he said something interesting when we had him on the podcast, that he said, Reese never wanted to do what I do, and I didn't want to do what Reese did, and we worked well together. And I feel like that's important, is finding what you do well or what you like doing, and then finding what maybe you don't do well and finding someone that does that well. And then you come together and you create something amazing.
Yeah, and I got lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky that I just so happened to cross paths with somebody like that. And he's one of my brothers for life. He'll be at my wedding. He'll be at my funeral. He will be at all these things if I pass first. However, whatever happens, whoever passes first, like, that is my brother for life. He's in he's in Oakland now. He's back in the Bay, but we still keep each other sharp. We're still, working on things, like whether it's together or separately. But yeah, the legacy of Lumpy Watermelon lives on because of him and I.
What were the early days like in the Bay? Because I'm assuming it was a lot harder maybe to get some clients to start off. What was that like when you guys were just doing the smaller artists that you were talking about, and then climbing to doing these massive, huge artists?
I just want to shout out, the artists in the Bay who trusted me with their art, their music, that they thought this Filipino cat with a camera could deliver them a music video that allowed me to continue honing in on my skills. And I was doing them for free. Chaz and I were just doing them for scraps at best. And I would just stamp my name on it, and we would stamp Lumpy Watermelon on it, and people would start seeing it. And thankfully, the folks that I was working with continued becoming bigger and bigger artists. It's like their music was being supported by these videos, and these videos, it just kept on going back and forth. And bigger artists, whether it was inside the Bay or outside the Bay, started to take notice, and they would just cold email us. And it's like, yeah, I'm down. And before we left the Bay, before my move out of San Francisco, was I needed to make sure that I worked with the biggest artists before I moved to LA. Because if I can't be the, top tier out here, how am I going to compete with like the biggest and the best in the world in LA? Because that's where everybody's at. And yeah, I had this checklist of artists and brands. And once I got like the last infinity stone on my fist, 10 days later, I was out.
Wow. And moved right down to LA.
Yeah.
And you were still single at the time, right? You just dropped everything in LA, and you came down, or you were dating Sam?
Me and Sam happened in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, I was still single at the time.
Wow. So you just dropped it and said, we're out 10 days.
We're out.
Who was that final artist? E40.
Yep. It was.
Sick.
Wow.
It was E40, which I had directed a couple times before, but that was the one that I felt like cemented me and Chaz, like, we done the biggest of the biggest things here. It was with the Jabbawockeez as well. The set was like 150 people on set. It was a huge production. We invested our own money into it as well to make it the best portfolio piece we could. And 10 days later, there was an opportunity. I was like, all right, I'm moving in. I got a bedroom. I came down here with a handful of trash bags filled with clothes, an iMac, and a Prius. Yeah.
Were you scared at all when you made the move, or were you just knowing that like this is what I'm meant to do?
Of course. I was like, damn, I was 27. This is my first time living with no safety net. I probably had like 2 or 3 months worth of rent saved up, and I just had to make it work. You know, I felt like I was up here, you know, as a director, and then I was plugging in lights and carrying C-stands and working overnight jobs for anything and everything. I was Uber driving, I was delivering food, I was back to that. But I had this portfolio of everybody I had worked with in the Bay saying, yo guys, I'm a director. Like, I'm not an electrician. Surprisingly enough, I am plugging in these lights, tying up these cables, but I'm a director. I'm here to build a crew. If you trust me, I will guide us to the light. And some of those people that I met on those sets that same year that I moved here, they trusted me. They blessed me with, you know, whether it was working for low rates or for free, trusting me as a director. Man, some of them have got to see the world. Some of them have got to make full livings off of the things that we've got to do together. And I still work with a lot of those people that I moved down here. You know, when I moved down here, a lot of those first people I met, I'm still working with to this day.
Wow.
Consistently.
When you were first starting out back in the Bay, was there a specific opportunity that you guys got that was like, okay, we took a step. This is the next level that maybe opened up a ton of new doors that allowed you to work with E40 and some of the biggest artists in the Bay?
It felt like it was every video because we weren't taking a cut. We were taking like a baby cut of the budget, but everything was like, it felt like a favor to our careers. Like we were getting, you know, 10 to 15 or maybe even $20,000 budgets, making like $300. You know, like we're working on these projects for 2 weeks at a time, but like every time the budgets would increase and we would figure out a way to make them better than our last. And yeah, I felt that every video. And that was for like 5 years straight. It's like every year was like an incremental, like this was better than the last. And yeah, and if it wasn't for Chaz, I don't think I would have improved. And yeah, like somehow I was able to get these awards and accolades to validate that and be deemed this music video director of the year. And it happened 3 times in a row, which was crazy. But there were these other different pieces of validation that happened along the way that let me know, all right, we're on the right path here. The right people are seeing it, whether it's like the biggest artists in the Bay Area that you could think of at the time we had done. And that just happened to be the last one on the checklist.
Got all the Infinity stuff.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite project you've worked on because of like the significance of it, or is there another project that you guys have done that is your personal favorite?
I want to say one of the first ones that we did, actually the first one that we did in the Bay, and then the last one. Everything in between that was always a step up. It was always a new opportunity to show the different chops that we have. A different way to showcase the different styles of videos. Like sometimes we'd be like, we're anamorphic people, you know? Sometimes we're like a classical spherical vintage lens. Like it gave us the opportunity to be so many different things. And yeah, it always felt like a constant improvement. None of them ever felt like a step back. Even if like the views didn't reflect that, we got to showcase our talent. And that wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the artists who believed in us.
Wow. At this point now with Lumpia Watermelon, are you only taking on inbound leads? Do you have to do any outbound for it at all?
We've never been outbound.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and still is all inbound.
Are you guys pretty picky with who you work with now?
Yeah, now. I mean, we always have been. But I mean, now that I'm doing more content creation, I'm even more selective now, I guess there's a word, but it's still an opportunity to keep the budgets and the business within the family of people that I've been working with. I still accept a lot of gigs that I don't even personally do or direct. I just creative direct it or executively produce it. Yeah.
What does it look like to executive produce a music video that you get to work on? What does that look like? So bringing together all of these different parts?
Yeah. So I'll pick out the DP, the cinematographer. I'll pick out the gaffer, the gear that we need. I'll get a director to execute that. I'll pick the editor. I'll have the editor run it by me, and we'll make revisions to make it feel like something that I can stamp our brand on and something that we're proud of. And that's usually how it goes. Mm-hmm. And that's still, it all happens. It continues to happen behind the scenes. I just don't post about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I'm very proud to say that, like, there's a lot of things that I'm pretty sure, hopefully you guys have seen it, but there's a lot of things out there that I've had the opportunity to work on that are big campaigns with big folks and big brands that have been going on behind the scenes alongside of the content creation.
I mean, it's amazing how you juggle all of the different things that you're doing.
I have the help. I have the help with, a management team. I have the help of, a lot of cinematographers, a lot of editors. And, I've got to delegate a lot of the work. I have different writers. I have different gaffers. I have different equipment rental companies. I have different DPs for specific kinds of looks that we want to give them. I mean, I'm doing one right now where it's in Dubai. Wow. It's a long ongoing process. There's some things that I've done in Paris that I don't want to say luckily I didn't have to be there for, but like I got to do it from the comfort of my home. There's a lot of things going on, and it's because of this network that we've built over the time. Like, yeah, we've been able to do it.
As a director, if you're not getting what you'd like out of talent, how do you navigate that? And how can, directors, up and coming directors, like how can they get what they want out of the talent better?
Oh, that's my favorite part. I feel like I'm way better as a director and behind the camera and getting talent to give me exactly what we need to execute a scene or a film more than I could be in front of it. I would never be able to execute or act something out as good as a proper professional. So for me, it's you build the trust, everything from setting the mood right when they walk in. What music you want to listen to, man? What coffee do you need? You like oat milk? You build that trust along the way. Like, oh, this new album just came out. Do you want to hear it? Should we listen to this? You get them really, really comfortable to trust you. You have to build this atmosphere so that they feel like they can perform the best. It's not about talent doesn't care. I mean, there's some talent that cares about what lens you're shooting on, but like they don't give a shit if we're using a 35 or a 50 or a 40. They don't give a shit like if it's a dolly movement or if it's on a crane. They care about just the comfortability of the situation. Sometimes people are comfortable with a whole crew around them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they want people to leave. And as a director, I just want to make them feel as my girlfriend loves that game. The Catan game?
Oh, yeah.
Sam loves that.
Dude, we got to play sometime. Yeah, I haven't settled in a minute. I love settles in Catan.
She's always talked about it. I always be like, you're a dweeb.
Dude, I thought it was the nerdiest game, and I learned it in college, and then I got obsessed with it.
I'm sure it's really fun.
Yeah,
no,
me and Sam do a lot of dweeby things together. So many dweeby things. But anyways, yeah. So I like to make my talent feel comfortable, and when you hone in on like all of the soft things and not necessarily the hard skill, they can perform the best. You make sure their crafty is right. You make sure they're, you know, their hair and makeup and their, all these things. Like I hire the proper things around them to make them feel like they could perform as best as possible. Now, let's say I do that and they're still not giving me what I need. I would tell them as gently as I can without, because, you know, whether people who are acting can be very sensitive. What do you mean I'm not giving you it's like, tell me then. Fucking tell me what you want. They could get like that. But it just comes down to the soft skills. You just got to learn how to talk, how to make people feel comfortable. Everything from the tone of voice to just not to sound condescending. You know, sometimes we've had to retake things like 15, 20, 30 times. Not ideal, but you know, as long as there's improvement each time, or if you need to take a break, like that's cool with me. As long as it's not costing me more money, you know.
As long as we're not going over a day.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, I would just make it. I like to make that relationship feel like it's just us two. Like if I'm directing you, I would just talk to you. Like, come on, talk to me. Like, what's going on? What are you feeling? Like, how do you feel like we can make this support? You know, delivering these lines or this performance. Like, do you want people to leave? Do you want to run a take without rolling? Like, how do you want to do this? And we just figure it out from there.
I felt like Braden disappeared for a sec as you were talking. Just me and you, baby.
Just locked in.
So locked in.
Yeah, and that's, I feel like it's just a skill that I've got to hone in on. And I feel like that's where I thrive the most.
Where do you see your production company going? And is there like a brand or a company or an artist that you guys haven't worked with that you'd like to kind of collect that infinity stone?
Oh, man. Yeah, so many. Just people that I'm fans of. It doesn't even need to be people who are hot at the time. Just people I'm genuine fans of. Dope. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to work with a lot of them already. But yeah, there's a few. There's some people who are really, really big that I also don't care to work with, but like, it's just whatever satisfies me at the time. I don't care if Loopy Watermelon becomes like this huge worldwide stamp name the way A24 is. I don't care. I really don't. I just care about waking up and making things. I feel like I already have the best job in the world. Like I get to wake up and just make things, whether the brand becomes huge or not. Like, I don't give a shit. I can be doing this same exact thing until the day I die. I will be fine. Yeah.
Loving every second of it.
Every second of it. Because I know in an instant it could be taken away. And I know what that feels like. Like me feeling like I was on top of my game, on top of the world, making the most money I had ever made in my life. And then having a parent just pass, just like, dude, none of it matters. So now my perspective on life has just become, I appreciate every day of it. I mean, I've always been like a half glass full type, but now it's just more than ever. Like, man, the shit could be 10% full, but yo, there's something in there. And whether I'm working on something and I don't think it's a smash hit or not, I'm like, yo, I get to do this. Yeah.
It's a beautiful perspective. I mean, I think that's the coolest thing for a lot of us that listen to us, and for us, we get to wake up and do something that we enjoy. Like we get to make videos. That's crazy.
That's a wild thought.
Wild
bro.
Concept, man.
You know, some people I know a lot of people get jaded by the industry, but you really just got to dig deep. You know, you got to dig deep as to why you still do it. Like if you're not happy with something, change it. Like you don't, and I don't want to, that sounds like a very privileged thing to say, right? Because people have to pay bills. But I mean, I think money is easier to be made than finding happiness. Because if you need to make money, you can go make money. Like I worked so many odd jobs to get to this point. Money, it's out there to get. I think expressing yourself and your creativity is like a luxury in life. And like we get to make, you know, a job out of this luxury. I mean, I think art is a necessity, but like it being a job, it's definitely a luxury, and like I'm just grateful for it.
I think that also with the things that you're doing with other brands on your personal side of things, you get the opportunity to have not only this awesome production company, you're working with all these crazy artists, you're getting to do stuff behind the scenes that we don't even see, but you now get to integrate some of the biggest brands in the world into videos that are going on TikTok and Instagram, right? You just got to do the coolest thing with Delta. Tell me about getting to work with these huge companies, some of the biggest companies, the Fortune 100 companies in the world. Like what is that like now that they're coming to you and saying, Adrian, we want to be behind these videos that you're doing?
It's a trip. Because every brand that I've worked with, I was already a fan of. Like Delta, I've been flying with them forever. And I felt like, I already embody what it's like to be a Delta customer. So it was just like a hand in glove situation. It's honestly a dream, like.
I was going to say, can you tell us what it is like to be a Delta customer? Because I feel like you guys are a little elevated,
Yeah, honestly, because one, the ticket price is a little higher, but it's also just like driving a Mercedes Benz. Like these things are very niche things that make us a little bit happier. Like what's the difference between getting, the pasture raised eggs versus the regular eggs?
Dude, our eggs are super happy 505.
They have to be organic pasture raised because he made the mistake of not getting the organic pasture raised in his.
They put the fucking organic on the top, on the side, not on the top.
The yolk was just not as orange as mine.
It should be on the top of the eggs.
They're just these little luxuries in life that make you feel a little happier. I don't want to say I feel like I'm better, but I hate flying. Like I hate the process of flying. So if I could be a little bit more comfortable, then I will pay that luxury tax of being a little bit more comfortable. And I've had a great experience with Delta as a customer.
Are you dialed in with Clear and PreCheck?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I knew that was a stupid question. Forget that.
Like from when? No, you leave it in. So like from when I get to the airport. From when I get to the airport and leave the car, from me to get to the lounge is probably less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So Costas, I had to get him on the Clear train, and I've gotten our other buddy Chase on it, but Chloe was going with me to the airport, and this was in the very beginning of our relationship. But I think we're at LAX, and she's like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to Clear." And she's like, "No, I'm going through." No, I'm going to Clear. You hang out in the regular shit. I'll meet you on the other side. Like, I'll get you something from the lounge. And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I'll get you a croissant or something." Like, I'm not gonna hang out in this line.
Centurion or Sky Club.
Either or, depends on the day. But dude, Centurion, they've been letting too many people in the Centurion lounge.
Really?
I'm having to make some calls at American Express. The other day I was like in Miami, and there was a line, dude. I went to the guy. I go, "A line? We're the whole thing here is to not be in lines, and now we're in a line." If you call him bitch a little bit, found this out from a guy in the line who was bitching to me about being in the line. He goes, "If you call him bitch for a second, you'll get like a $200 voucher." And I was like,
"Oh, dude, complain every time."
Yeah, every single time you got to complain about this line.
Dude, that's already like the damn near the membership cost.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, he's like, "Yeah, dude, you'll get a free lunch at the airport, maybe even dinner tonight." I'm like, you're onto something.
The
my
membership
friend.
is so amazing. What is it, like $5.95, right? But you're Clear. Sorry.
Clear's free $99.
Clear is free, which is usually a $189 product.
If you use the benefits, it evens out. If you don't travel, the cards
not just evens out. It's
you make
it's
money.
Worth
yeah,
more.
you make money. Yeah, you make money.
I use everything.
Yeah.
I use every benefit everywhere, all the time.
Clear is a game changer. The reason why I got Clear is
global entry.
Global entry is insane. When I was late and I was in the PreCheck line, and dude, PreCheck in LA is just like a regular line. They're like, everyone has PreCheck here.
Sometimes PreCheck is longer than the regular.
So I was late and I was in the front of it, and this guy, I was to the front, and I'm like really running late, and this guy's, "Excuse me, sir," and I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" I'm in PreCheck. He goes, "Sir, this guy's Clear." And this was when Clear first came out. I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy, dude?" And he's like walking in his suit, and he looked at me and just like nodded. I'm like, "Dude, fuck you." What
got his little Ramoa.
Yeah, he had his little Ramoa. He's like rolling in front of me, and the guy's like, he didn't even see his ID. He just like nods at him. I'm like, what am I missing out on, dude? And the lady's like, you gotta go with Clear.
The Clear PreCheck global entry
trio. See you later.
Do you have any advice for someone who does want to do social media as a living, or I guess just like see some sort of success? It maybe not 500K, but like, can you expand on how doable social media is as a career, and not needing to have 500K or 1 million followers?
Yeah, when I first started getting my first brand deals, I was far from that. I think I was doing them at like 200 something. And even then, that's still a lot. It's hard to get to. But I think as long as you tell good stories, there's a lot of like micro influencers or macro influencers. You could still, what I don't like is that people think that you can't do two different things. I think you could go 100% full out on one thing while having a job. I was doing that for years. But yeah, it's possible. I think if this starts outgrowing this, then just do this. But just know we all have a shelf life. I'm not going to be hot at some point. And if I don't adapt, I'm not going to be relevant. If I feel like I don't want to do this anymore, then I can't pursue this as a career. But with that being said, it's absolutely possible. I think if you just tell the right stories, and if you are somebody who could represent a brand well, then they'll come. I never focused my content on attracting brands. It came because I honed in on how to tell a story. Brands are always trying to find different ways to tell their stories to different audiences, whether it's commercials at the Super Bowl or to a niche group of following, whatever niche that you're in, whether you're a beauty influencer, whether you're in the filmmaking space, whether you're a photographer, whether you do interior decor. They're always trying to find a way, whether, there's so many different ways a vacuum company can tap into these different markets. And if you can tell a story, they will come. And I don't want to say that's a surefire formula, but what I've seen is the best storytellers are getting the best brand deals and the biggest variety of brands hitting them up to create content for them.
Yeah. I think we're seeing it right now with the things that you're doing. You're getting to work with all of the biggest companies that we know and love, and I think it's a testament, I think, to the success that you've had right now and to the work ethic. And like you're saying, you've hammered this home. I feel like the whole episode, that story is everything. And
that's the most important.
It's the most important thing. And it's what we grew up on, like watching Casey. That was, I remember vividly, like, oh, I can just get it, whatever camera I can afford, because like Casey is doing it and he's not even coloring his shit. Yeah. He's just fucking, the camera's breaking in every video, the GorillaPod's half broken, but the story every day is what's hitting home for all of us. And that's why there's millions of us waking up every morning and starting our day with some piece of advice or inspiration or motivation from this random guy in New York City,
Yeah. I religiously would eat breakfast watching a Casey vlog.
Same.
Because he'd post on New York Time, and I would eat cereal or my breakfast and just be like, what's new today? When the shit would be late, I'd be pissed off. Be like, bruh, you're ruining my routine, Casey. Get on it.
So funny. But he didn't post like till way later in the day. I remember we woke up for like fucking bio class and I'm like, dude, we're about to go get rocked by this test and we can't even like enjoy a little Casey in the morning. What's going on?
Man, Casey has been such a big inspiration as to, for me and so many others, that just crafting a story about, whatever is authentically you or whatever speaks to, things that you like. It doesn't even have to be about you, but only speaking about things that you truly understand and know. I feel like he embodied that. And he brought stories to these things that most people would find mundane, whether it's talking to your delivery guy or, bringing your kid to school or visiting your your partner during their lunch break. But he knows how to craft it so well. And like you can literally make anything a story. I made videos about my office needs more plants because it feels a little drab in there, or I have really bad allergies, so I'm gonna get like the biggest life hack, which is a bowl of pho to clear my sinuses. Like you can make a story about so many things. You don't have to overcomplicate it. As long as you know the story you're telling and you know it well, and people can see that it's authentic. Like people know when it's fabricated. People know when people are pretending to be gurus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as long as you could do that, man, like I don't want to say the success will come, but the growth will come as an artist, as a creator.
Totally. And I think what's so cool is like similar to how Casey's been an inspiration to you. I'm sure there's so many kids that you've been an inspiration to, that have watched you. And I'm also so excited for you to have come on the podcast, because like I've learned so much about you. I feel like through this conversation, I'm sure everybody who's listened to this episode like has seen you in a new light that maybe, you know, they didn't know about, or they've learned stuff about you that they didn't know about you before. So I just think that's like the coolest thing.
I have one more for you to end us off. What is something that you would tell your 18-year-old self before you came out to LA, before you shot all these crazy music videos in the Bay, and before you've traveled all around the world with this camera in your hand?
To the young Adrian who doesn't know where he's going to end up in the future, people are going to make you think your ideas are crazy, that it's not a real job, that what you're doing is stupid, but trust your gut and don't feel bad. Don't dim your light or your skill or what you really, really, truly feel passionate about, because these people don't understand it, and that's okay that they don't understand it. I don't think any of us live conventional lives, and I think all of us here are really lucky and blessed to be doing this. Not only is it a small percentage of people who get to express themselves because they want to, expressing themselves while making a career out of it is an even smaller percentage out of that pie. I would tell the younger self, just believe in your vision, believe in your ideas. There were so many people along the way that would try to talk me out of it and make me feel like I should be on what they thought was the proper path. And I never faltered. And even when I saw myself going into a different direction as my plan B, I dropped out of it. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I was about to be a dentist. Like, wow. Yeah, I was, my whole life was actually, wow, this podcast is going to be extended now. Yeah, man, my whole life. So I'm actually a high school dropout.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Senior year?
Yeah. Well, I just never really went to class. It just wasn't really, I think learning and education is important, but for me, I just felt like I wasn't as interested in learning within that structure and that format. I was able to retain everything. The only reason why I passed things was because I passed the test. I never did the homework. I was just like, I don't want to be here. I just want to make things. And yeah, high school, I barely went to school. And then I dropped out. And I remember my mom was like, where did we go wrong? Like, we put you through private school, in elementary school and middle school. And then I went to a public high school, and I went to 3 different high schools. We moved around a bit. And I dropped out. I knew I was going to drop out like junior year. I knew I was going to drop out. Yeah. Yeah. I knew I was going to drop out.
Were you afraid of like any of the repercussions of that? Or were you like, I'm so dedicated. I know that I'm a maker. Like, I know that I'm going to make this shit happen.
Hindsight, of course it's easy for me to say that I knew I was going to be here because I'm here.
Totally.
But of course I had my doubts, but like the younger egocentric me was like, I always knew. I always knew that there was nothing else that I could do better than create, whether it was through music or through music videos or commercials or long form storytelling videos. That was the only thing I really found true happiness in, is just expressing myself. And like every teacher, of course, every teacher was right? Statistically, they're right? Like, that's not a real job. Like, think about your future. Why are you not doing the homework? Why would you drop out? Like, going to college is so important. And yeah, 2 weeks before graduation, I withdrew. I got my GED. There's like a minimum amount of time you have to go to adult school to get a GED. I spent my minimum time there, and I think I got it a handful of days before graduation. And yeah, I went to community college to appease my Asian parents, because the last graduation they seen was fucking, 8th grade?
Oh my God.
And I already was not good at school in 8th grade. I think the best I was at school, I don't think I was ever good at school, because in kindergarten, my second day in kindergarten, they gave my parents a calendar, and they would mark off if I was like a good kid or not. I don't know. Maybe I was on the spectrum or something. I think my mom was like scared to take me to do this test. My mom had always said like, no, you don't need to do this test to see if you have any special learning abilities or ADHD or ADD. But yeah, it was just hard for me to pay attention to anything else. And I would always like sketch and doodle or whatever it is. So I felt like I owed it to my parents to go to community college. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll pick a career path. But I had a camera in my hand the entire time, like doing photography, making little videos here and there with my friends. And I had a family friend, basically an uncle, who was a dentist, I was supposed to go work with him as a registered dental assistant. I was going to get my RDA, which is like, I guess the equivalent of being like a CNA or like a RN as a nurse or something, but in the dental field. And I would lie to myself. I'd be like, you know what? I can make people happy by giving them a good smile. And if their smile feels good, then they'll feel good as a person. And I find happiness within that. It was a fucking lie I would tell myself all the time, every day. And me and my cousin were going to be dentists and open up our own practices. And I was going to go to either UCSF or UOP, which is big dental schools in the Bay Area. And my last semester, I've been doing this for almost 2 years. The very, very last semester, before I finished all my lab classes, the second day in, me and my cousin were talking. He was like, damn, we're really about to do this. Isn't this sick? And then I was sitting in my parents' car at the time. Just people were walking by about to go to class. I was like, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to do this. And I hid it from my parents that I wasn't going to that community college anymore. I just stopped.
Wow.
And to appease my parents again, I was like, fine, I'll go to like a digital art school or whatever. I don't want to say it was one of the biggest regrets ever, but I mean, I did it just to be like, woohoo.
Yeah.
Here's a graduation. But yeah, everybody made me feel like this wasn't real. Like, you can't do this. Like, you weren't proficient enough in any of these things here that was conventional learning to excel in something that you were really passionate about. But man, I would tell that little kid, like, trust that process, because throughout that whole process was a whole lot of confusion in terms of appeasing other people. Whereas like, I knew what truly made me happy was creating things. And to this day, I feel like that's what I'm best at.
Man, I love it. Adrian, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I think I learned a ton about you. I think people are gonna love this episode and just get a whole different insight on who you are. And
they're gonna be like, yo, this bro talks way too much.
Nah, bro, man, I loved it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into episode 111 of the 505 podcast. Make sure to hit the sub button, check out the new neon sign, and we'll see you guys all next week. Peace.